All right, everybody, welcome back to Everyday Whiskey. I'm Mike.
And I'm Dan, and this week we bring to you our 1776 review for this 4th of July / Independence Day weekend.
Hell yeah, this is America.
And this is the most American whiskey we can think of considering. On the back, here's your 1776 logo.
America.
And on the back, you have the Don't Tread on Me snake.
No steppy on sneak.
He's very bad karma. No, but seriously, 1776 may seem like an everyday brand to you, but what we have learned here, but what we've learned, actually, there's some serious history behind this, Mike.
There actually is, which I kind of knew there was, but I didn't realize how extensive it actually was.
I didn't realize that,
we went really extensive.
You can tie back some pretty early, I can't talk, dude. Pretty early bourbon roots to 1776, to the Old Pepper Distillery.
Yes.
Which originated during the American Revolutionary War.
Hell yeah.
So James E. Pepper is the grandson of Elder Pepper. They didn't list a name, to be honest. And this distillery, they had two distilleries. One is currently where Woodford operates out of, or at least the Woodford property sits on. Number 2 is in Lexington, Kentucky, which is the James E. Pepper Distillery that you currently know.
In a very pivotal place in the American Revolution.
Yes, is it?
Lexington and Concord.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Lexington and Concord.
Good point. Yeah, it shows you how much I retained from my college history classes. But, all right, we'll get into some other stuff with the whiskey. We're not going to bog you down with details right now. Just to like kind of straightforwardly say, like, this is an important whiskey or important brand.
Yeah, and it's very suiting for the holiday, I think. 1776, July 4th. Our independence.
America.
Freedom, baby.
All right, so.
F you, Britain. Just kidding. We like you, kind of.
Yeah. How much box comes from there?
I have a cork.
All right. Let's start with the bourbon.
You want to start with the bourbon?
Yeah, we'll do the later of the two. That's the bourbon? Oh, yeah, I got the rye. Shit.
Yeah, you got the rye.
I don't know why I had in my head I had the bourbon. I always feel like no, that makes sense.
Fun fact, as long as this has been around, plus as long as he's been selling it, and as long as I've worked for the company that sells it, neither of us have ever had this.
Nope.
So this is the first.
Blind taste. Happy Independence Day.
Yes, happy 4th of July, happy Independence Day. Don't blow your fingers off.
So this is made...
this, and that's not good.
Yeah, don't do that. So this is made in Lawrenceburg, Indiana, and gling, you guessed it, this is an MGP product, or partially an
MGP. Yeah.
Partially an MGP product, because they are currently distilling on the recently, as recent as 4 years ago, the reopened Old Pepper Distillery, or the James E. Pepper Distillery. Yes. So they are distilling on those grounds again, which we haven't seen in those products yet.
No.
Obviously, because this is aged 3 years and up. That's what it says.
And it was in 2008 where Amir...
P-A-P-E-A-Y. I don't know how to say it correctly. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's just P.
Whatever.
Could be wrong. But he basically revived this brand. He searched through historical records. I mean, he did his homework to try and recreate this to the best of his ability.
So this is essentially a clone. Kind
of similar to the Belle Meade products. Like how the actual family members discovered their history. They did the same thing. Once they found out that Nelson Greenbrier was their great-granddaddy, they did the same thing. They hit the books and did their research to recreate that product also. So, I like that.
Let's give this a try. It smells very MGP bourbon on the nose. It does. It's got that, like, cherry wood note, which is, like, very...
cherry wood's a great way to describe it.
Yeah, it's cherry wood, so that's very, very, very iconic with MGP.
It is aged over 3 years.
Alright, so, to be completely honest, as a drinking neat, this doesn't do a lot for me.
It's sweet.
It's very sweet.
I like it.
But the cool thing with this whiskey is, so, James E. Pepper did not invent the old-fashioned cocktail, but he introduced it to the world. The cocktail was made for him and in honor of him at the Petimus Country Club in Louisville, Kentucky.
Yep.
So, what we figured would be really fitting
is we do a live cocktail. Not live,
but you know,
a cocktail on camera.
We're gonna make an old fashioned. Once we're done with this, we're gonna make an old fashioned with the bourbon, and we're gonna kind of live in history for a second.
Yeah. So stay tuned. We're gonna get through the rye next, and then we're gonna do a little cocktail hour in this episode as well.
I figured it was only fitting.
Yeah, and old fashions are super easy to make, so that's why we're just gonna do it right on camera.
And something that we found that was like pretty funny, not funny, but really cool.
No, it's interesting. It's really interesting
Also,
because we didn't know that prior to buying this.
He had a stagecoach that was named the Old Pepper, I believe, which had his whiskey branding all over the side of it. He was a whiskey industrialist. He spent a lot of his time in Manhattan, and he hung out with the likes of the owner of Pabst Brewing, Rockefellers, Vanderbilts, J.P. Morgan. So those people are kind of important when it comes to American industrial history and the current country we live in. So it's kind of cool that this guy rubbed elbows with them and showed them, like, this is how you drink whiskey. Yeah,
and I mean, if you know anything about that point in time, Manhattan in New York City, at that point in time,
of the world, essentially.
It really was. That was the only major city. That was the place to be. So what better place to market all your stuff? I mean, you're right there.
However, unfortunately, as all good stories do, they come to an end.
They do.
So this distillery operated, for all history's sake and just to make the episode sound better, operated from good old 1776 all the way until 1967, 189-year run. Pretty good.
Almost 200. That's a long friggin' time.
But unfortunately, all those pansies in the late 60s drinking gin and vodka and had to have their cocktails, didn't want bourbon. These guys had to cut and run. Got rid of the business, sold the business, and that was it for 1776. Until, like you said,
2008, Amir P.E. took over and recreated everything.
All right, so let me finish this, and we're going to get in the rye.
Yeah, here, I'll start pouring. Oh, this is a totally different nose.
Dude, it's MGP rye. I know, but it's MGP rye. So just smell again and think like it's fucking tarragon and dill pickle to me.
A little bit, yeah.
I just dumped it on my freaking nose.
Caramely, tarragon. A little bit of dill.
A little bit of licorice.
Herbal.
Yeah, dude, that's MGP rye. It's like sweet dill pickle with a little bit of black licorice. Like that, MGP's rye is its own category.
It's good, though. I do like it.
Oh, yeah, it's good. I really like this. It's a good rye. And I had this conversation with someone today. So a lot of people are like quote-unquote whiskey purists.
Yeah.
They don't want anything from Lux Row or MGP because it's sourced. Basically, it's not true, like, it's aged whiskey. They're aging barrels. But the companies who use MGP, people knock them because they're not actually distilling. So, distilling is only half of the equation, just so everybody knows. The reason 90% of you pick a bottle up is because price, marketing, and branding.
Yep.
You don't pick it up because of the liquid inside.
No.
If you don't know what it is. If you know what it is and you've had it, obviously you're picking it up because you like what's inside.
Obviously, if you haven't tasted it, you don't know what's inside.
But if you're picking up a random bottle you've never had before, you're picking it up because it has a great label, it's in a good price point, and the marketing behind it is great. So, that comes back to people who say MGP is shit. It's not.
No, not at all. We've had dozens of bottles on here that have proven that wrong.
Ooh.
I mean, our very own
Garden State Distilling.
Yeah, Garden State Distilling.
All right, guys, I gotta give you a little shout out here.
Yeah, we'll always give you.
Here's our local favorite distillery, Garden State Distilling. When I say local favorite, it means it's within 15 miles of my house,
and even closer to mine.
So thank you guys for doing what you do. Thank you for the amazing cocktails on Saturday. You're the best.
But they use MGP products, and they're phenomenal.
Want to know one bigger brand that uses fucking MGP? Smoke Wagon.
Yeah,
Smoke Wagon's MGP. So.
I got a fun fact for you. It's kind of silly. Sorry, we're going to go off on like a not even 30 seconds, like a 10-second tangent.
All right, fire from hit.
There's a new movie on Netflix. It's called Ice Road. It's got Liam Neeson in it. Within like the first 10 minutes.
Oh, it's about the Ice Road thing.
Truckers,
yeah,
kind of.
Yeah.
Well, one of the very first rigs that pulls up is a Smoke Wagon big rig. And it literally says it right on Smoke Wagon Bourbon, Las Vegas. I was like, that's cool. I nerded out when I saw that.
Smoke Wagon, Liam Neeson approved.
Yes.
No, but seriously, I'm going to not go on a long rant about why I like MGP and why I think people who say MGP sucks are stupid. But
they're just stupid. That's all you need to know.
But the easiest way to say this is drink the whiskey you like and don't give a fuck what anybody says about the drink, about what whiskey you drink. And that's simple as it is. I love MGP products, ryes and bourbons alike. Mm-hmm. And anybody says that they're garbage to me, I don't really pay attention to it because it's a pretty ignorant statement.
It's very ignorant. They're all different. It's not like it's just the same bourbon with different names. MGP, they distill it, they do the work, but it's different every time.
Once, say, Smoke Wagon receives your 12, 11, 5, and 9-year-old barrels that they typically use, that is half the battle. He then blends all that together to make a cohesive product like a mad scientist which is blending is almost harder than distilling sometimes.
It is.
Depending on what you're doing. So that's all I'm going to say.
We did a blending episode, and it wasn't easy.
No, it wasn't easy, and we didn't know what we were doing.
No.
Like, there's an actual science to this that we don't know about.
And they still don't know what they're doing sometimes. Like, you never know what you're going to get.
End of story. Really understand that, like, everything has multiple layers. It's
yes.
Like, if you look at MGP at face value, yes, I understand why it's very divisive. But if you look deeper into it, it's probably one of the coolest things that we are around in the whiskey industry.
The other thing that MGP is good for is if you're a new distillery and a new brand to market and you want to get your product out there, you don't have time to wait 4, 5, 6, 10 years to age shit. You need to get product and get it in a bottle and get it on the shelf.
I'm glad you said that, because that's
MGP is a good way to go.
And you know what a really cool brand is that does that?
Garden State.
No, fucking Johnny Walker.
Oh, Johnny Walker does.
Johnny Walker does not distill, even remotely. So, when you say that, places that don't distill aren't real distilleries, it's bullshit.
Yeah. The reason I brought up Garden State is because they were very transparent with us, and when they started, they said they had plans to make their own, but COVID hit.
Which they have made their own, though.
Yeah, threw a monkey wrench in it, so in order to get product out, what'd they have to do? Source it so they're sourcing temporarily while they make their other stuff. So MGP has its place. Don't knock it. It's phenomenal.
All right, so end of rant there.
Yes.
Drink what you want, when you want. Don't give a care. Don't give a care in the world what anybody says about why you're drinking it.
No.
All right, so we're gonna
cocktails.
All right, I'll make one with bourbon. You make one with rye.
Okay. I already picked up the bourbon.
I know, that's why I said the rye's on my side.
Oh, okay. I see what you're doing.
So we don't know which whiskey that James E. Pepper made the old fashioned with.
Isn't rye in Manhattan technically?
Yeah. No, rye is an old fashioned too.
Oh, okay.
Manhattan, you use like cocktail syrup and shit like that. It's a little more past that.
I am just doing this.
Haphazardly.
Neither of us are actual mixologists or bartenders, but we have definitely gotten very good at what we do, just based on our industry. There's actually 4 cherries in here, so we could both use 2.
Perfect. That's going to be under it. Well, I'm going to do a little trick with you that I found I like better with my old fashions.
Pour a little juice in there.
Yes. You nailed it.
Did you put bitters in mine just now?
Yes, I just put bitters in yours. Okay.
Yeah, put a little bit in there. Cool.
So I do the cherry juice instead of grenadine to sweeten it up because it gives it more of the, here, we have a...
And I only do a shot of simple syrup, like just a quick squirt, because I don't like my stuff super sweet. But yeah, we've come to learn to make pretty good cocktails.
All right, cheers. All right, so in honor of James E. Pepper, in honor of Independence Day, this is a true and true American cocktail.
Old fashioned.
Happy Independence Day, everybody. Oh, we forgot to say it. So, if you made it to this point in the episode, I want you to do 3 things.
Ooh.
We want you to like the video. Please subscribe to our channel. And please comment on the video. Also,
and share it.
And share the video to all your friends and family who you think would find this interesting. So, if you're making old-fashioned cocktails this Independence Day weekend, drink 1776. It makes a killer old-fashioned.
It really does. This is phenomenal, actually.
All right. We're going to switch off, but this is pretty much it. Everybody have a great Independence Day. Stay safe, drink whiskey.
Cheers.
Cheers.